Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of OnlinePilatesClasses.com. We're going to talk about should your ladder barrel have a rung cover? I'm really excited. I have a lot to say on this topic that has a lot to do with the rung cover and also a lot to do with like, what are we doing? Why are we rung covering and what's going on? So first of all, this comes from the questions you asked in the comments. So thank you. Keep them coming. We definitely love answering these questions. Sometimes they become long form videos. Sometimes they become videos where we go live on Sundays answering them. So, and if you're here live, it's a lot of fun for me because I do have Brad standing here watching to see what other questions come up so we could talk about it. So before we get into should your ladder barrel have run cover, I just want to let you know the countdown is on. The OPC Summer Tour powered by Balanced Body starts in, as of today, 19 days. So we hit the road on July 24th. The first one is on Arizona on July 25th. Then it's San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, Sacramento, Eureka, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, Canada, Kamloops, Canada, Calgary. That's the one. If I haven't said a city you're willing to drive to, Calgary locations, you can sign up virtually. You can literally get tickets to the workshops virtually. We're opening up limited spots to that one. That's opc.me/Calgary. Okay. So if I haven't said a city you want to drive to yet, that's the one to go to because you get the virtual tickets for that. Then we're going to go down to McCall, Idaho, and then Salt Lake City, Utah, and finally we're going to end here in Las Vegas. So again, join us in person or join us virtually at the Calgary event. opc.me/tour shows you all the cities. Come to a couple cities. Clearly, like if we can drive from San Diego to Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, you could probably do a couple of those, or San Francisco and Sacramento. The workshops are different, so it's worth doing a little like roadie trip, right? OPC.me/tour. Okay, so this question came from someone in their teacher training program about how they struggle because they have their height size and their foot size of how to use a pad for short box on the ladder barrel. And what they described to me is they have to take a pad. It's like a blue thick pad. I've seen them before. A lot of people kneel on them at the gym. And they have to put it on the tops of their feet, of the client's feet, and then the client can flex into this pad. Oh my God, I feel so unsafe. I'm just going to tell you right now. Brad is shaking his head right now. No, you can hand me that. Okay, you can. Well, we'll talk about why that's still also not okay. So their feet, though, don't pull back on the pad and they feel really unsafe when they're doing their short box roll ups. I'm going to tell you right now, my feet are big enough and this feels so uncomfortable and so unsafe. So I don't want to knock programs that teach this in the fact that clearly they want you to be safe. And they're also trying to make it comfortable because a lot of people are taught that short box on the ladder barrel, you're supposed to flex your feet into the rungs. I was taught on the top bar, the second from the top bar right here, and flex the feet into the rungs. I'm going to turn my rungs around just so we can have a proper conversation about rung height. It has changed over the years. So my rungs, my ladder barrel is based off of 𝐒𝐤𝐈 ladder barrel from decades ago, like more than my age. And you can see, um, this is going to make people excited. You can see that like my feet can pull back on this rung, right? So take it this way. Okay, like that. Okay, so you can see that my feet can pull back on this rung, but I'm a tall person, so my feet are bigger. That being said, it is really uncomfortable. However, that's not the exercise. And then the feet being on the bottom rung, pulling back, I can barely do this. My toes are having to touch it. So I can see where the pad is put there to one, give something to pull back against. All of that being said, it's not the actual exercise. So when you're sitting on the ladder barrel, you should be pushing into the rungs. So you're on the arches of your feet, like you're doing footwork, bird on a perch. You're pressing into your feet. Now, ideally, you are doing it here on this top rung. Okay, that's where you're doing it. The only reason I would lower the feet is because of hip flexor tightness or just the need to like hip restraints of some kind. But ideally you're here. And then we're just going to turn this one more time so I can show you how this works, because everyone's going to tell me, but Lesley, how are you going to not fall off your ladder barrel? And I'm going to explain. So on the reformer, you don't push, you actually don't, you flex your feet against the strap, but you're not using your hip flexors, right? So here it gives me this opportunity to find my seat, and we're in a good spot. Okay. Push into my feet, find my seat. And when I round back, right? When I round back, as long as I'm pushing into my feet, I'm not going to fall off. Okay. I will say if you're flexing your feet back against this or a pad, now all I feel is my quads right here. And when I round back, now my hip flexors are holding me up. We want to see my feet. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys, we're just trying to keep it moss around here. Okay, so if I pull my feet back, it's all quads. When I go back, it's all hip flexors. When I put it on the arch of my feet and I push, whether my feet are on any of these rungs, I push. Now I'm standing in the back of my legs and I'm not going to fall off. Even if I'm doing something like tree, right? I'm not going to fall off. So the pad is unnecessary. Why are they teaching that to you? I imagine it takes the complaints of people saying the rungs hurt their feet, and it creates some sort of safety in there. But it actually isn't teaching a corrective movement. It's not getting your client connected to their center. It's certainly not going to help them find their center when they're on the reformer doing their short box. Now, if you're like, but Lesley, I have a really nice, just like rung cover. It looks a lot like I wish I had one here, but it's at the gym. You know, if you do back squats, if you're like me, the bar hurts your shoulders. So yes, I'm one of those people who puts a pad on their bar or a pad under your hip thruster bar. The Pilates companies today do make this like rung cover, and it kind of like a hot dog bun surrounds your bar. That's exactly what I said. It's a lifting shoulder thing, right? That I still don't like those because it encourages someone that it is okay to pull their foot back. It makes it comfortable. I don't want to run cover. I want them to go, "Ah, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't feel good." Right? Because you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to push into your feet. Push into your feet. The only time, and I won't show you today, but you can see it on I think it's like called the arabesque off or control balance off the ladder barrel. Here there's a tutorial on this channel. I cartwheel off, go into the splits, and I come back up. You come into a handstand, you hook a foot. That is the only time you hook a foot on the ladder barrel. You're always reaching into this ladder barrel. Okay. So I feel for the person who asked me this question because they were stressing about taking a test. They're like, my feet don't even fit. They're too small. The pad feels like it's really unsafe, like I'm going to fall, but I'm told it's a safety thing. And my frustration for them is that clearly their teacher trainer did not give them an option for them to feel safe and for them to be connected. And Pilates, whether you teach group classes or personalized one-to-one sessions, it is supposed to be personal. It's supposed to be tailored to you. And you're supposed to be doing exercises that you're ready for or going to help your body be ready for exercises. And so the reason to do short box on the ladder barrel, one of the greatest reasons is it actually does teach you how to do it better on the reformer. On the reformer, the box is flat. You've got this strap. It's so easy to be in your hip flexors. It's so easy to go into your lower back. The ladder barrel literally teaches you how to extend, right? It's giving you this opportunity to find the longest extension while reaching your legs away, something that you want to be able to do on the reformer, but a lot of people are afraid they're going to fall off. So they're really flexing their feet around the strap. So it's teaching your legs how to reach, find the seat so that when you're on the reformer, you can do it there. And so I was frustrated with this person because they weren't taught that. And then the way they're being taught to teach it doesn't make sense to them. And so then what's going to happen is they probably just won't teach it. And then their clients are going to be given this opportunity because to progress or to understand the short box series because their teacher wasn't given an opportunity to be in a place where they could be analytical and understand. I agree with safety measures across the board. I'm a big safety person. That being said, when you are changing an exercise to create safety and comfort, but you don't have options for everyone, it does create this confusion. And teachers often avoid exercises they don't get. When they avoid them, they don't understand them even more, and their clients miss out too. And so this channel is here because one, I want people who love Pilates to have an option to study it and learn it without a gate. All of our tutorials are free, right? I also want teachers to be able to have a place where they can understand. And I hear a ton of teacher training programs use these tutorials for their training. I love that. I'm obsessed with that. I hope you're using our flashcards. And I also hope that it's creating conversations around, is this exercise right for a client? What about someone who's this tall or this high or this weight or this level of their practice? What will we do there? Instead of just sticking a cover on a rung going, good luck, now it's better for you, or a pad, now your feet fit. I think we actually have to understand, like, why are we giving this exercise to a person in the first place? Is there any other place we can give this person the exercise? Can they learn this somewhere else if we don't have this option? And then what do we do with this person who's under 5 feet tall, whose feet don't flex? Oh, well, how else could we teach her? And so I think giving people all the options. If someone has fear, maybe you use the flex foot and the pad to get them over the fear, and then you teach them the pushing it. It was really hard for me because I was trained in my program to flex against that rung. And then Brad did this earlier. And then they're like, yeah, just use this little pad here. Just put this thin little pad here for your feet. And it Yeah, she on the ladder. So pull this here. And yes, it meant that my bones weren't pushing into the thing, but it wasn't allowing my find my center. And thank you, Just Shield's happy belated birthday. I know we missed you last week. She feels like she slides more when there is something on the ladder barrel. So I'm not saying Joe is perfect. There are some interesting things that he did. But I am saying, like, can we, before we start modifying things, actually do it the way that he intended and then explore why was it like that? Who was it for? Some things were literally for a client, one client. Okay. Some things were for everyone did that. Right. But if you were taught that you must use a pad or a rung cover, I would love for you to explore, ideally with someone nearby so you feel very safe, putting your arches of your feet on the rung, making sure look at this, I'm nice and secure. I can't go anywhere. And then rounding back, right? Oh, you can even take your arms overhead. Oh, and then rounding up. Look how strong you feel because that's going to change how it is on the reformer. And that's the reason why we do this anyways. We do this here so we can do it better on the reformer, so we can do better roll ups and extensions on the mat so that our roll up on the mat has more hamstrings and glutes than it does hip flexors. So it's really interesting to me that we teach people, oh, don't use your hip flexors, don't use your hip flexors, and then set them up to just use their hip flexors. Anyways, now I'm ranting. Now I'm upset about it. But I hope this serves up a conversation with you. And if you were taught like this, what I did tell this person is pass the test. Honestly, like this is going to sound real terrible, but someone gave this permission to me, and it was the thing that as a perfectionist I needed to hear. Just do whatever it takes to pass the test. My first teacher training program, I failed my second test because I didn't, in air quotes, teach enough. That was the explanation. That was the feedback given to me. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I told her what to do. I don't know what that meant. Right. I retook the test. I said, did I pass? She was like, I guess so. Anyways, I was really frustrated about it because I was like, I don't mind failing, but like, what do I need to do to be better? Right. And the person said to me, they're not the end all be all. They're just the gatekeeper to you being able to teach full time. So just pass the test. And then you can learn from anybody. And that's what I did. I did everything I could to just pass the test and then go on and study with people that really truly felt like they were giving me permission to be curious, to be in wonder, to be able to ask questions without feeling stupid, to being able to then empower my clients to take ownership of their practice. And that is what I hope to do at OPC with all of our classes, what I hope to do here. It's what I hope to do with my mentees, what I hope to do on tour. I appreciate all the compliments that I have these great cues, but really everything I'm doing is to empower the body in front of me to own their practice. Because when you're not with me, when you're not watching this video, when you're not taking class with me, you don't have me there to be like, make sure you don't flex your foot there, right? I want that empowerment. I want the curiosity. I want the connection. So thank you so much for your amazing questions. I really hope this gives you permission to, you know, pass the test and also keep being curious, right? Training programs are really good at making sure you're safe and you have a job. And then it's where the real work begins, right? Those first 5 years can be instrumental in your career if you take advantage of being curious in them. So thank you for your questions. I'll be back next Sunday from Los Angeles. We're going to take a little vacation, but we'll be live from Los Angeles, and then we'll be on tour, right? Well, actually, we're still home, but then we'll be on tour. So, anyways, 19 days till we kick off this tour, and I really want to see you in person. OPC.me/tour. And if you can't make any of the places in real life, check out OPC.me/Calgary for the few virtual tickets we have. Have an amazing day.